All right, well, let's get started. Thank you for coming to the first SLG meeting of 2015. For those of you not in the know, SLG is what we've taken to calling our statistical, well, I have and tried to push it on everybody else, is what we've taken to calling our statistical learning group meetings, or SLG. We started last semester. It was organized by Justin Post, as well as several grad students, including myself, Neal Grantham, Brian Gaines, Jamie Jackson, and Josh Day. And it was put together so that we could collectively learn topics related to statistical learning. It was a topic area we were really interested in, and we wanted kind of more a discussion-based, informal but kind of formal, at least with the presentation setting, that we could kind of learn all these different things together. So what we had decided to do was take bits and pieces out of Hastie, Tibshirani, and Friedman's Elements of Statistical Learning, along with their companion textbook, An Introduction to Statistical Learning. And each person kind of got a subset of those ideas, learned it themselves or brushed up on it, put together a nice presentation involving code and explanations and everything that you would want in a presentation, and came in here, gave 40 to 50 minute spiel on their topic. And questions, are welcome anytime throughout a talk. It's a nice way for us to motivate ourselves to get through this material together, and we get some really good discussions going. So we're hoping to continue that this semester. Also along with the talks, the material is something we're interested in, but we also wanted to give everybody a nice opportunity to practice their presentation skills. Good, public speaking is not something that just develops overnight. It's something that you work at, and there's a lot to be said for putting together a presentation that you might not know the material about beforehand, learning it, trying to set it up nicely, and then communicating those ideas to other people. And particularly related to the communication is the emphasis on communicating statistical ideas to non-statisticians. Now, many of us here are statisticians, but one thing that Justin was saying he often hears from people in industry is that in academia you get so used to being around your own kind that when you talk statistics you've got this certain level of jargon that is not accessible to people who have not been brought up in the statistics area. So one major emphasis of these talks was, here's an opportunity for you to present these ideas, but try to present them as best you can to non-experts. I mean, statisticians are natural collaborators, and that's something that we should emphasize no matter what. And it's maybe something that you don't get exposure to as well in your classes or any of those different settings. So that's really the three main reasons for our SLG meetings: the material, professional presentation, and the communication. And that's something that we're continuing this semester. Now, for those of you, many of you were here around for last semester, but what we had decided to do was organize major topics of study. So we had regularization and penalization methods in September, so that was like ridge regression and lasso. In October, we had supervised classification. That's logistic regression, linear discriminant analysis, decision trees. We had some Bayesian methods in there. And then November was support vector machines. What are they? How are they constructed? Where are they used? What can you use them for? And we actually, we have slowly been collecting the code and the slides, and they're all available on Justin's website. One thing that we wanted to do to make it a little bit more accessible to people is we put together a Github repository. That's what I've got right here. This is the repo name. It's just slug-ncsu-2014-fall. And down here, all these different subdirectories are just the different talks. So, here was mine. Here's the data, the images I used, and the slides, and then links to the talk that go straight to Justin's website. So if there was anything in the talks like, oh yeah, I like how those slides look, or oh, I'm doing support vector machines and I want to try and run some SVM code, but I'm not quite sure how that's put together. That's the purpose of this repository. You can download it in one fell swoop by going to this clone and desktop option. Or if you're familiar with GitHub and you want to tinker with it and add to it and stuff like that, if this is publicly available, go ahead and fork it and make your changes and submit pull requests and all that kind of stuff. But it's all here, and there's a little schedule and everything. And we've also set up something for 2015. Now this one is much more empty because it hasn't happened yet. And we've got schedule of talks here. So you can go ahead, look here, and if there's a date and available and a particular topic you want to discuss, go ahead and email us at our email address, and we'll try and fit you in somewhere. Maybe if you got like a couple dates that would work for you. And if you're super familiar with GitHub, you can just fork this repository, make your changes and commits straight to the repository, and that way it's just all ready to go at any moment. If you're not familiar with it, you can always put stuff together and email it to us, and we'll put it on there. So don't let that stop you. But again, it's supposed to be really accessible, really transparent, and it's all right here for everybody. But this semester, one thing that we wanted to change was we liked the topics. We liked being able to kind of carry over themes from talk to talk. Like it was nice hearing Brian's talk on ridge regression and lasso, and then Josh talked about different penalizations, and then Will jumped into the adaptive lasso and the penalized lasso. So that kind of those chunks were nice to do, but we felt it might be a little restrictive, especially because there's just a wide variety of possible things we could talk about. So one thing that we wanted to do in this semester is kind of open the floor a little bit. We're not going to have particular topics. What would be ideal is if somebody wants to do a topic and somebody wants to do a related topic, that they try and go together. We'll try and fit that in. That would be really nice. But instead of making our way through elements of statistical learning exclusively, that's still something that we want to do. There's a lot of topics that we didn't get to, like neural networks, and unsupervised classification is a rich area that we haven't really touched on. Deep learning is all the rage these days, and I went to a talk and still don't know much about it. So that would be an interesting one. But in addition to the statistical learning topics, something else we wanted to just get more of like a data science feel to things. So statistical learning is more than just a predefined set of topics. It's also the tools you use or the visualizations you make to motivate further research and problem solving. So I wrote this down. We 3 pillars of possible talks, like statistical learning concepts. Another pillar is like data science toolkit. So by that I mean maybe popular software that you think is really, really useful, maybe a suite of R packages that really make data management and data visualization nice. I was thinking with Bayesian methods, there's like Stan and JAGs and WinBugs, maybe a brief tutorial on those, as well as some comparisons would be nice. So this is more anything that you think would be useful to somebody that deals with data on a daily basis. We think that would make a great talk. And then maybe the third pillar of possible talks is your own research. So if you're working in a topic area that's mildly related to statistical learning, it most certainly probably is. We would love for you to come in and give a presentation on your research. It's a perfect opportunity, especially if you're going to maybe present at JSM or some other conference. It's a perfect opportunity for you to put together your talk. Give it here first, and you could even ask for feedback. We could have anonymous forms, say, hey, I like such and such example, but maybe you want to lead with that and go through it, or stuff like that. So again, we're open to ideas. This is an informal environment, but that's kind of what we had thought of for this semester.